All right, so I want you to introduce yourself. We have a school owner here, and she has a great program for school owners that are not ready to invest that $5, 6, 7, $8,000 for the Genesis software, the smart system, the Fame, the Prestige, all of those expensive software. She's got something that's very interesting and is very affordable. So if you own a school or you anticipate on owning a school, you definitely going to need this program that she has, because it's going to make your life a lot easier running your school. I mean, it's automated, it's digital, it keeps up with a lot of stuff, so you don't have to fumble around with a lot of papers trying to keep up with stuff. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you. Tell everybody who you are, how you got started, and I want you to talk about that software too, the program.
Okay. Hey, Chin. Thanks for having me. My name is Malia Hendrix. I am the owner of Cure Advanced Aesthetics. We are a medical and advanced aesthetics program here in Memphis, in Midtown Memphis. We've had the school we've actually had the program probably for about the last 4 years, but we've actually had the school open for going on 2 years now. And so we teach all things skincare. So waxing, facials, advanced facial treatments, dermabrasions, chemical peels, body contouring, you name it, we do it. And so we're the only school in this area that has that. So we're excited about that, but we're excited to help our students learn, build, and grow, because we want to see them succeed outside of this, the school, of course, within the industry, and be as profitable as possible while helping their clients.
Malia, why did you go into skincare? Because a lot of people are into barbering, styling, nails, whatever. What made you choose this niche with the skincare, the aesthetics? Tell us about that.
Well, I started in cos. I'm a cos girl all day long. So, I mean, I've been in the field for about 20 years, and I absolutely loved hair. I even did a little bit of barbering as well. I'm not as good as, as anybody that's trained to barber, but I love to cut me in as well. So I ended up going through some really bad times in my young adulthood with acne. And so that's what led me to the journey of aesthetics. Actually, one of my mentors, he's also my uncle, he kind of put that bug in my ear one day and just said, he's a very prominent businessman, and he just, kind of told me, you may want to think about aesthetics. It's a really good field. And I was just like, whatever. And then when I started looking at it, I'm like, well, I already like skincare. I enjoy all these things, skincare, makeup, and all that kind of stuff. So it was like a natural move. So I went into it. It became a super duper passion of mine. And then after I grew that talent and took it with me to like different places like New York and all these other places I've been blessed to live in, I realized this industry was just so huge, and it was like never ending. So I figured it was something I had to stick with. And then after I realized it, I was owning a school. So not only did I teach aesthetics, and of course I had so many hundreds of clients, and had a successful business in doing that, and worked for others to gain the experience. After teaching and all that, it only seemed natural to go ahead and go into training. So that's how the school came about.
Now, when did you start thinking about opening this school?
Right during the beginning of the pandemic of all times. I know you had someone else on the show that opened their barber school right during the pandemic, and we were neck and neck. It was literally August of 2020, or right. Yeah, I think it was 2020 when we got our location of August. I had been doing it virtually and, going to different schools with my program, but then to finally have my own brick and mortar actually happened during the pandemic. And it was scary. It was very scary because I didn't know what was ultimately going to happen, if people were going to show up. People were losing their jobs. They were getting sick. So I was just like, oh my goodness, is this going to work? But I prayed about it. I felt like God had led me to go ahead and get started, and it has boomed ever since we opened.
So How does it feel running a school versus being in a salon? Because you've been in this industry over 20 years.
Yeah. Whew. I will say that there is some stress in there, but it's a good type of stress because it's like growing pains. So it's much better. It is much better because, you know, you get the opportunity to train hands-on. You still get to interact with clients, but you're helping so many students get into this field the right way. There's a lot of people right now running these like fly-by-night programs where they just get a piece of paper, and the poor person that they suckered into doing the program doesn't realize it doesn't mean a thing. But, you know, we are certified schools through state board. So we're giving these students the opportunity to have a career, you know, for their families, to earn these hours, to sit for their exam, to get licensed. So that's very rewarding to me. So it's better on, you know, a financial standpoint. It's much better. It's much better like body wise. You're not standing up all day doing hair. You're not, you know, leaning over all day doing facials either. But, you know, you're coaching, you're training, you're making a difference. I would say in the community and just in society in general. And then, of course, you do reap the benefits as well to help support and take care of your family.
Now, Malia, with you being in the industry over 20 years, did you ever experience any pain or wear and tear on your body?
Yes. I have carpal tunnel right now in both wrists. I've had to get the steroid shots before to kind of help loosen things up. You know, aching feet, aching back, all of that. And I'm a mom as well. So you throw that into it, pregnancy and all, it just creates a whole different ball game. So yeah, there has been some wear and tear, but I will say ergonomics is a big deal. I know a lot of us professionals out here, we don't really stretch properly, we don't sit properly, we don't stand properly, and our postures are terrible. So that's another issue in itself too. So I do think had I done some of those things, the wear and tear would have been a little bit better. But yeah, it definitely took a toll on my body for sure.
Now, when you started experiencing these pains, how did it start out? Can you take us on that journey?
Oof. Well, I was actually still doing hair at the time, and I was working at a very, like, I guess you could say high-end salon, and I was doing the round brush blow drying, and I just realized my wrist was literally like cramping and tightening up so bad, and my hands were like so tight that they were cramped, I couldn't really move it. And I was just like, what is going on? So I went to the back, you know, tried to just massage it out. It did get better, but I noticed with each client, it kept that pain and that cramping kept coming back. Not to mention when I was doing facials, oh man, it got so bad because I'm a good massager. I do a lot of massaging in my facials and everything. And it got so bad, I couldn't really move my thumbs. So I said, yeah, I think it's about time I probably like, you know, ease away from this a little bit, because over time that wear and tear is no joke.
Now, during the pandemic, because you said that's when you first started thinking about opening your school.
Yeah, well, that's when I initially opened it. I thought about it maybe about a year before, but I did open it during the pandemic.
Now, when you start experiencing those pains, did you ever think, well, what else can I do? Did that cross your mind?
Absolutely, it did. I started wondering, should I, you know, try to just focus more on training? When I was working in the other salons and spas, I was always in charge of like training the new people. So then I said, well, maybe I should just focus more on training. And then when I got into instructing in cosmetology and aesthetics, here again, same thing. So then I knew it was more of like, I thought about it and I knew I had to do it. So yeah, it was definitely a transition.
Now, so you're sitting at home during the pandemic, everything shut down. And well, you just woke up one day and said, I'm gonna open a school. Tell us about that.
I'm a woman of faith. So quite honestly, I had been praying that God would just show me what should I be doing, because I had just had my third child, and my husband works for, he's in law enforcement. So we've moved around a lot. And I knew I'm in Memphis, I'm back home, this is where I'm from. So I knew I was going to be here. And I'm just like, God, you're going to have to show me something, because this pandemic is coming. I'm not really teaching right now because the other schools were shut down. And I feel like he just put that vision in me, that dream and that fire in me to just go ahead and, instead of having my program virtually, just go ahead and have it in a brick and mortar so I could open it up. And that was, I guess, the epiphany moment. And literally that next day, I had a friend call me. She's actually a former coworker. She called me and said, hey, there's a place in Midtown that Scott's Face is available. Do you want to go see it? She had no idea that I was even thinking about it. Like, she knew I wanted a school and all that, but she had no idea I was thinking about it at that moment. And I hadn't talked to her in like a year. And so for her to just call me out the blue and say, I see spaces available, I think you should come check them out. You know, you had mentioned last year you wanted the school and all that. And I was like, well, you know, let's go ahead and see it. And she came with me, and I put my deposit down in faith that very next day. So it's kind of crazy because I was scared. I didn't even have any students at all. I literally put down, and I don't care about being transparent, I think I had to put down like $1,200 at the time, and that I wasn't even making any money anyway. And we had 3 kids, so it wasn't like we were made of money either. We didn't have extra. So yeah, it was definitely a faith move, but it was the right move.
So you opened the school. Tell us more about that. When you was getting the school ready and all of that, how was that?
I'm a very proactive person. So I feel like everything that I've gone throughout my life has prepared me for this moment. I was working for another school that closed down, and I had to build their aesthetics program, you know, prior to them closing down. So I kind of used that knowledge, and I was just like, okay, I gotta, you know, develop the program, gotta get the application. So the next day after putting down my deposit, my daughter, she's 16, but at the time she was, I think she was going on 15. She sat up with me till about 3 o'clock that morning. And we did my website, we did the business cards, we did the application, the curriculum. The curriculum was almost like a 2-day process, but she helped me to develop that online platform. And, you know, we got all the paperwork done, and it was literally done in 2 days, but it was like determination, because I knew if I was going to roll this out the right way, and plus I already had my program, you know, pretty much in the works anyway, it was like do or die time. So I just hit the ground running. But yeah, it was about a 2-day process.
Now, Malia, when you were working, you was working at the other schools. How was that working at another school, training, getting your paycheck and all of that? Tell us about that.
To me, it was actually easier. It was an informative experience because it gave me the knowledge that I needed to understand what goes on behind the scenes. So, you know, I'm not a student, I'm able to teach these people, but what do I have to do? What are my responsibilities? And so it was good working at other schools, but I would see so many things that they were doing wrong. And that would bother me with a passion. And sometimes, because I tried to not be too outspoken, but there were times where I had to talk to the director or whoever it was over the program and say, listen, this is wrong, that's wrong. These students realize that they're having questions, they have issues. And then there were times I got fired for that because I spoke up for the students.
Yeah, fired for that sometimes.
There was one time in particular I got fired because I approached the director at the time. There were some students that just weren't getting it, and they were disrupting the classroom. And at the same time, the program wasn't up to par and the training wasn't up to par. And I let him know that. And next thing I know it, I'm getting a pink slip. So, you know, I guess they were a little intimidated by me. I don't know. But how dare I come in and tell them what to do in their program, I guess. And I can understand that, but I just wish they had been open-minded. But had they not, I probably wouldn't have had my own school. So.
Now, when did you come up with that program on how to keep up with a lot of the day-to-day operations? Because you got a really good system, because a lot of school owners, they can't afford the Fame system, the Genesis, the Smart system, Prestige. All those systems are probably like $5, $6, $7,000 or whatever, and then probably $400 or $500 a month.
Right.
So tell us how that came about, because that was genius what you did.
Thank you. I can't take all the credit. Here again, that was just a blessing. I needed to do things in an affordable way. Like I mentioned, I didn't have any money to do this program. I didn't have any type of investment money whatsoever. The $1,200, I was on unemployment at the time. So I used whatever I got from unemployment to pay that for my rent to get the place. So everything else was on me. When I realized I could use that online platform for my classroom, I had an idea from my sister and my daughter. They both had used it before in a previous class. And so it only seemed natural to go ahead and listen to them and just go through the logistics to build it that way. Plus it was free. And I'm like, okay, I'm all for this, let's do it. So, yeah, that was pretty much the gateway of how, or the idea, how it came about so that I could go ahead and just build. It really just came from not having the money to, just like everyone else, to, do a different system. I didn't even know of another system at the time either. So I had no choice but to find something free.
So as a school owner, because there are a lot of school owners that are going to be watching this, and future school owners, and they're going to want this program because they're not going to be paying no $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 coming out the gate to do this. So can you tell us a problem that you had, and then when you came up with this software, this Google Docs and all this, the solution?
I would say the problem, well, I didn't have enough money for textbooks either for my students, for the students that were hopefully coming in. So that was the major problem. So when I realized, okay, I've got to make this textbook available online, how do I do that and have the curriculum in a spot where everybody can see it? That's how I rolled over into setting the textbook up on Google Docs. It did take a long time because I had to scan every single page, but my book was then online and free for me, of course, and then that way I could present that to my students. And then with the Google Classroom, I was able to just upload every single chapter and go from there to create my curriculum. So yeah, that was the initial problem. Here again, finances was the main, and then just wanting to have something that was exclusive for my students to have that organization, and then to be able to communicate with me online and all of that. That's pretty much how it came about.
So what solutions does it solve? Like for school owners, like give them, you're gonna have this problem, but it's gonna solve this. You also gonna have this problem, it's gonna solve that. Can you go through a little bit of that?
Absolutely. You're gonna have the problem of paperwork. Traditionally, we would do, I guess, chapter reviews and tests and all that kind of stuff, homework, whatever it may be within theory. You would do that straight out the book. But with the Google Classroom, with having that online platform, your students can do it on their own, upload it, turn it into you. That way you don't have piles of paperwork on your desk to grade. You also have GPAs that are formulated on there as well. So you don't have to sit down and calculate what this student got in their GPA, all these grades that you're not really able to keep up with. If you're a school owner, as like me, at the time, I didn't have any help. It was literally just me and my daughter. I'm thankful for her. But when it came to like the grading and, the everything that's needed throughout the curriculum that you have to keep up with, and not to mention when you move on down the line to get towards like accreditation and all that, you've got to have all these different papers and stuff. All of that can be done online. Their progress report, that can be generated online. So you don't have to worry about trying to generate that by hand. Oh my goodness, it just goes down the list, but there's a lot of different benefits with having that online platform. It does free you up. And it does give you the flexibility to present videos, to present other handouts for your students without you having to sit there and print off all these papers, buying more ink, buying more paper. And it just makes everything organized and easy.
Okay. Now, when did you come in contact with me? How did you find out about our program?
Wow. I actually saw, when I was first thinking about the school back in 2019, I saw one of your videos on YouTube. And one of the things that really stuck out was that you had done some, I guess, traveling and, oh man, maybe conferences with Bishop Jakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Bishop T.D. Jakes. And so I was just like, huh. And that was a big thing, because I was just like, wow, he's a barber. He's, you know, and then the Millionaire Barber kind of stuck out. So I'm like, well, what is he doing? What did he do? And so I was just intrigued to find out exactly what your story was. And so once I found all that out, I was like, wow, okay, he did it. I can do it too. And that's what really lit the fire in the first place. But then, like I said, after the pandemic came, I kind of just, I don't want to say I forgot about it, but I just kind of eased away from it until, you know, God put it on my heart again. But yeah, that's when I initially found out about you in that video, in one of your videos on YouTube. And then I just started researching the things you were talking about with being a school owner, and really just kind of paying attention on what that would entail. And right after that, like after opening my school, I thought about those videos again. I thought about you and what you were presenting. And I said, man, I definitely want to start up financial aid eventually. Let me go ahead and contact him now, you know, while things are still new, so I can make sure I'm doing this the right way and get into his program.
Okay. What would you say to men and women? Because a lot of barbers, stylists, nail techs, and estheticians, they're going to see this. What would you tell them? Because there's about 1.3 million beauty professionals. There's only about 1,100, and I think they said 65 school owners.
Wow. I would tell them, are you meaning the ones that want to become school owners, or the ones that are?
The ones that are thinking about becoming school owners, they may be on the fence or whatever. Yeah.
I would definitely say, if you're doing it for the right reasons and you're not chasing the money, you're wanting to get into it because you want to see these professionals do these services in the right way as they're helping people. If that's your passion, and if your passion is to train and to coach individuals to be their best self in this field, then go for it. Don't let anything hold you back. Don't let finances hold you back. Honestly, just, you know, really have that faith and go for it, because it definitely will pay off as long as you're right reasons. And it definitely will be something that you can grow and you can hold on to, you can pass down to your children. I mean, it's definitely the best move I had ever made. And I would definitely encourage anyone else to do the same.
If you had not opened a school, what would you be doing?
I think I would have eventually gone into doing some clerical work or something like that, because my wrists couldn't really take the facials and doing hair and everything anymore. And so it would have put me in a situation where I would have had to have gone somewhere else. Now, I probably would have done something with training for like a larger company, you know, like maybe massaging or something like that, doing some sort of corporate training with a skincare brand or something. But yeah, I don't even want to think about where I would be, to be honest with you, because I can't see myself doing anything else.
Now, how did you transition? Because you were working in the salon at first, correct? How did you transition from the salon to the school? Because a lot of people have a fear of that, or a phobia, scared or whatever. So can you, because you got 3 children, right? So how did you do that transition? Because a lot of people want to know that.
Well, I think it was more or less encouraging myself to just go for it. The transition, logistically, it was more about, I'm not satisfied with the money that I'm seeing, you know, that I'm coming home with, because even with having my own clients and working at a salon, you know, getting commission and all that, that money still does not pan out to what you would hope. I mean, and if you do get a good amount, because I know some people probably charge double than what I did, because this was like 10, 15 years ago. But still, I knew there was more potential. And so as far as like, I guess, overcoming that fear, I kind of told myself, well, look at it this way. You're going to be helping these girls and these guys out here that are doing services the wrong way. And they really want to learn these advanced treatments that no one else is teaching. And, you know, I kind of had to look at it from that end, because the fear of losing clients and not doing what you've been doing for years, it will overtake you and make you feel like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm not doing it. So it was really kind of like I had to just throw that out of my mind.
Now,
yeah.
How long you been listening to Bishop Jakes?
I would say since like 2013.
Okay, because it's very difficult to listen to him and not do great things.
Yep. That was also in there. I actually had the opportunity to meet him about a month ago, and I froze and I couldn't even tell him my name, but that's another story. But yes, he is very, very motivational, very inspirational. And so I still lean on his messages now, you know, as I'm.
Why? Every day I feed my spirit.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. So I've definitely been getting that encouragement and that coaching from him. He's also a mentor. He don't know it, but he is. So, so yeah, it's hard to listen to him. And because I feel like he is the entrepreneur's preacher. I do. I feel like he was meant for us, and he does give you that extra push and also warns you about some things that are going to happen along the way. So yeah, I appreciate him for that.
Mm-hmm. So what's your next goal?
Well, I recently decided that I would love to extend my program. So I do want to add in cosmetology, and I also want to add in massage therapy. So when it's all said and done, we would be just a full-fledged, I don't know what you call it, but we would literally have some really extensive programs under our belt. And I do think that'll be a good thing, because in Memphis, we've got a selection of schools, but, and I'm not saying any of them are bad or anything like that. It's just, we want to do something different, and we want to do it at a very professional level, and a level where these students are getting exactly what they pay for.
Now, you're a very caring school owner. Tell us about that, because a lot of school owners don't care about their students, but you're very caring.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes our school stand out. We do care, because they're people. They're not just paychecks. You know, they're not just cash walking in your door. They're actual people with families, with lives, and you're touching these people. And so I just think it's only natural to care about them, not to the point where I can't do business, but to be very empathetic so that they know they can come to a safe place. We've had so many students, especially, I mean, quite honestly, we do have more females in our program. So we deal with a lot of different emotions and attitudes and things like that. So we do have to learn the balance, I guess. But we've had some pretty horrific situations. And I think from that, you have to be caring so that your students can get that encouragement from you to keep moving forward. I've seen some school owners not care, and those students walk right out the door. I've seen them transfer to other schools because they felt like they didn't get the compassion they may have needed on one day they came in, and them and their spouse may have had a fight or whatever it may be. Yes, they should check their attitudes at the door, but it doesn't hurt for you to be kind, because sometimes they may need a counselor. We've had students that wanted to commit suicide. I mean, substance abuse, you name it. So you've got to have, and I do have, you know, a life coach, and I've got therapists on staff as well that, you know, can kind of help and speak with these students. And so if they are going through some life issues, they can have some resources. So I think all of that, because we build the whole person. it's not just about aesthetics with us. So I do think that makes a big difference.
Now, your aesthetics program, can you tell them how many hours that is?
750.
750.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, what's a day like for you in the school? Like in the shop, we know what a day is like, standing behind a chair, working all your muscles all day long. Can you tell them what a day like is of a school owner?
Well, the phone may be ringing off the hook, and that's okay. You're going to have students wanting to enroll. You got students that are already enrolled that have questions. But like I said before, all of that is rewarding and is to be expected. A day in the life would look like going in, checking on everybody, making sure all staff are doing what they're supposed to be doing, making sure that you've answered and responded to texts and emails from students. And then just, kind of sitting back and thinking of ideas. That's one of my things. I'm constantly thinking about, okay, how can I improve our current program? What do I need? Is there certain documents I probably need to make to help my students out with logging their time or whatever it may be? I'm constantly thinking about what do I need to do, troubleshoot and improve some things so that you can avoid any problems and issues. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You in your day just like you would at the shop, but sometimes your day doesn't end when you leave the office. You may still have things to take care of even at home, but at the end of the day, it's yours. And so that's to be expected, and it's rewarding all the way around.
How has the physical part been? It's been less physical.
Very less
Can you
physical.
talk about that?
Yeah, it's been much better. I've been able to rest. I've been able to, do some physical therapy for my carpal tunnel. You're not working on people all day. You're not on your feet. You're not using your hands all day. You're using more brain power. So mentally, you gotta kind of make way for that. But physically, it's much, much better. And it is like your body can finally rest from all of the wear and tear.
Now, somebody that's experiencing pain right now,
Mm-hmm.
and they continue to do what they're doing, what do you feel is going to happen to them?
Their body's going to shut down. It is going to just break down and shut down to the point where surgery may not fix it. And if they're not getting regular massages and doing some type of physical therapy, that's just going to add even more problems to the situation. I actually knew somebody who had to go and get like steroid shots every single month. And she was on all types of different therapies because when she started experiencing that pain as a hairstylist, she wouldn't sit down. And now she's to the point where it's like her body depends on these shots and these other medicines to keep her going. And I don't know if she's going to last, to be honest. I really don't. So I encourage those who are still moving, you may want to slow down. Yeah.
I want to ask you another question. When you got ready to open the school, what did your family members, friends, people say to you?
They kind of just looked at me. They didn't believe me. They, oh, that's great. You get the fake. And I people anyway. I only told those closest to me, but even them, I remember even my sister, and it's funny because she ended up working for me, but she was also one of those ones that was just like, well, we'll see. And so it happened. Now she ended up going through my program and everything. So, I mean, she's set to get her license, and she still won't admit that she didn't believe it at first, but I'm not that kind of person to say, I told you so, but I kind of just let it speak for itself. I let it speak, but no one believed me. And usually that's how it's going to happen, right? Everybody around you is going to be like, please, we'll see.
I know so. Bishop Jake said when God gives you a vision, he said he don't give it to everybody else. So
that's right.
What would you say to somebody that is thinking or dreaming about opening this school, but they got a lot of negativity and naysayers?
Oh, yeah, get away from them. get in a circle by yourself, get in your own space. If you're not a believer, and if you have not ever had like a relationship with God, it'd be best to develop one so that you can really pray, because he's the only one that knows your future anyway. So, you know, pray and really find out if this is what God would have you to do, because you got this passion. Ultimately, he's led you to it. So you don't have that passion for no reason. So get away from the negative people, get to yourself, and literally sit there and write it down. You know, that's another thing. Write it down, do a vision. I'm a very firm believer in vision boards. I even make my students do vision boards in the beginning of the program. It sets the tone, it sets the standard of where you're trying to go. And I would tell them the same thing. Do a vision board, you know, draw out what you want your school to look like. Do a blueprint of it, and also do a blueprint of what you want to offer, and pray over it, and just get away from anyone and anything that's negative. If it's not feeding your spirit, don't do it. Don't listen to them, and just stay focused, because it will and it can happen. I do have to say real quick, I used to be a single mom, and I was a college dropout. I got pregnant in college, and everybody thought I was the one that was probably not going to turn out to be anything. Like I didn't care, you know, I was just that person that chose to have kind of a hard life only because I was being disobedient and just kind of doing what I wanted to. Mm-hmm. So for this mom who was a college dropout, who, you know, no one thought would be anything, to actually own a school, and now I'm in the process to get financial aid, which means you said your school will be worth about $1 million after that. I mean, it's just like, who would have thought? So if I can do it and have people around me like, girl, please, you're a statistic, like no one's going to believe you. Then if I can do that, oh my gosh, anybody can. Anybody can.
Now, do you tell your students your story?
Mm-hmm. I do. I think it helps them. A lot of them come in with worse issues and situations than what I had as a single mom, and they need that coaching and that encouragement. And when I tell them that, it enlightens them, and they figure, hey, I could do that too one day. Mm-hmm. I think I'd be doing them a disservice if I didn't.
Now, Malia, have you thought about writing a book?
No, I have not. Wow, I have not. I don't. Everything is possible. Everything is possible, but I haven't. I guess I've been trying to maintain where I am. Mm-hmm. But that's pretty cool to even that you threw that out there.
Because you gotta, your journey in your life is inspiring, and it inspires a lot of other women, even men too, but primarily the women, for them to hear your story or read about it, of where God has brought you from to where you're at now. And I mean, shoot, he got a whole lot more for you. Even when you get this accreditation, $1 million is coming in. I mean, it's a lot out there that God has for you. So you're going to keep climbing, but you inspire a lot of women. And especially if they hear your story, because even with a book, that'll take you places that you can't go, or it'll take you places that you're going to go. You don't know who's going to read it.
Wow. I'm taking, thank you. But that's amazing. Well, I guess I need to think on that and start praying on that thing, because I've never said it that way.
Because the more you share your story, even if it's on the internet, in magazines, that's how I met Bishop Jakes, because I was in Ebony magazine back in 2000. It was a one-page article with my mugshot, and you know, talking about that, and they reached out. That's how he became my mentor.
Oh wow! That's
because a lot of people higher up, when they hear our stories, they know the struggle because they've been through it, and they are very giving and they want to help. Mm-hmm. And especially if they see you've done something, because you've opened a school, because I had a school, so I had done some work. So that he even just helped. He added gasoline to the fire. Yeah. So then you probably do public speaking. People will probably fly you in to tell your story. I mean, that's a lot.
Wow.
And they would pay you. So, because you got a very good story. Because see, you're just not telling me this about you dropping out of college and having the child. I'm just not learning this about you. I'm just thinking, oh, this is a smart woman, because we've never really met face to face. I only talk to you on the phone. And you know, on the phone, you sound like a college, some educated person from a different race. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm from the hood. I'm probably country, a little ghetto. I don't know, but talking to you, you sound like an educated school owner, someone that's just prim and proper. So, yeah, when people hear you speak, because you don't talk like no Memphis person. You know that, don't you?
I've heard that a lot.
I went to college at Tennessee State University, so I got a lot of friends from Memphis. Maine, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm just a humble person. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not that one. I'm in the background, so I guess I hadn't had the opportunity to talk to you about any of that stuff yet, but I'm glad I did today. And as far as like, I guess I just been cultured because my mom, she was also in law enforcement. We ended up moving to DC when I was about 13 or 14. So a lot of my education and all of that came from me getting out of Memphis. Had I stayed in Memphis, I would still be North Memphis, which is one of the hoods I came from. And so getting out was really what did it for me. You got, like Jake says, you got to get out of your zip code and, you know, getting around these different peoples with you know, big minds and big dreams, big ideas. That's what sparked it for me. And then having the opportunity to move around even more with my husband, that right there really did it for me, because my dream was to work for Aveda in Nashville. God took me to Aveda in New York. And so I got to teach aesthetics there alongside some great individuals. I got a chance to meet Beyonce's makeup artist and Jennifer Lopez's makeup artist. I mean, it was just like, where am I? And so, you know, that's just really, it just comes from getting cultured and getting exposed. My dad always said that, rest his soul. He would always say, you got to get exposed, you know, don't just sit here and you know, be ghetto, get exposed. And that's what ended up happening. So
GD Jakes talks about exposure. He said limited exposure creates limited options, which result in poor decisions. He said that had we been exposed to more, we'd have more options, and then we can make a better decision. So, okay.
That's powerful. And it's true. It's definitely.
Can I share the screen so you can kind of tell them about that program?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me know if they can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. And I can fast forward some as you can kind of walk me through this.
Okay. So yeah, if you want to fast forward a bit, I think in the very beginning, I'm going over how to get logged in to create a Google account so that all school owners will have the accessibility to build their curriculum with Google Classroom.
Okay, so they set up the account. You want me to keep fast forwarding or play or what?
You can keep going if you want, because I think, yeah, we're okay. So right there is, that's actually where, before we get into
this is what?
Okay, that's where the actual classroom building starts. So I think I've already showed them how to get in, how to name their or title their classroom, and then we're going to get into the basic tutorial of how all the functions work. And how it's used. So that's kind of like the meat of it right when we're starting at that point.
Okay, do you want me to fast forward or what?
You can fast forward, kind of showing how you build your theme for the classroom. You can keep fast forwarding. Yep, how to put a picture in, and yep, how to develop the assignments. And yeah, this is exactly this point, or at this point is where I'm showing how you literally go in and create an assignment to post so that students can see it on the platform.
Okay, so chapter 1 textbook assignment.
Yep, we've created it. We've given a quick description of the classroom or the actual assignment for that classroom. And then I'm just showing how you save it and go from there.
Now, what are you doing now? Uploading the video?
Yeah, because this platform does give you the option to put any attachments in for that assignment, which is so cool to me. So you can put any handouts, videos, web addresses that you want to link to that assignment to help your students with like more resources or directions.
Okay. Now, what you doing the grading system here? Or I see grading system. So is this like,
yes,
about that program?
That's actually the rubric.
Okay.
So system also gives you a choice to put different types of rubrics in so that you know the criteria for grading.
Now, I want a question. Somebody's going to ask, what's a rubric?
So the rubric is basically a standard, and it comes with, I think this one in particular allows you to put in the different percentages of what each assignment is worth and what you're looking for. So let's just say with your rubric for each assignment, you want creativity to be worth 50% and you want the information to be worth 50%. That's what the assignment would be based upon, that rubric that you set, which is the standard you set for your program, which also makes you more credible. It's not like you just throwing grades around. You're showing how you're grading these assignments.
And that's very important because NACAs will ask school owners, do you grade on a rubric in practical assignments? Because if it's 100 points and you got 10 questions and they worth 10 points each, if they get half of a question right, you have to count it all wrong. You can't give them half points. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That solves the problem.
So you put quizzes in here too, right?
Yep, you can put quizzes in there and you can develop those quizzes on your own. So a lot of times we may have a pop quiz from some sort of modality we learned earlier in the week. We can throw like 5 questions together quickly. You can make a multiple choice or true or false, however you want to do it, but you can make it available so that they can just log in, take the quiz, and then it grades it for you. So you don't really have to worry about putting in the grade.
Okay, so you already had the correct answer in the back, so the graded form.
Right. It allows you to go ahead and put in the right grade, so that way you don't have to worry about like going back to grade each one. It'll automatically do it for you.
Okay. Now, can you talk about this? What are we doing here? Hold on.
Oh, okay. In that area, I think I was sending an email. So I was showing emails to your students from there. You can send them their progress report straight to their email. And so I was going back and forth to show how that's done and how easy it is. And it's basically generated right there for you. You don't have to do it by yourself, by hand.
Okay. Let's see what we're doing now.
I think you may want to fast forward a little bit. Okay. And then with that previous screen, I was showing how you could stream messages to your students. So if you had an announcement that you wanted everybody to see, you could post it right there in the classroom, and then everybody will get the alert for that message. Also, this app is available to download on your phone. And so that way it has the app. every student is getting notifications. Everybody's in the loop. So there's no miscommunication whatsoever.
Okay. I think, let's see where we're at now. It's a lot in here. This is quite a bit of work.
Oh yeah, it's to be honest, as long as you've already got your curriculum in mind, it's not very hard to put everything in. But when I'm breaking down all the directions in that video, it is pretty long. So the video would need to be broken up, I guess, into 3 or 4 parts so that everyone could grasp all the concepts. However, I think I mentioned to you before, we are available to help those who they don't even want to do it and they just want us to step in and do that for them. That's a service that we can make available.
It's very detailed though. You like went step by step by step.
I had to. Yeah.
That's really gonna help school owners.
Absolutely.
How can they contact you? What's the best way for them to contact you? Is it email or what?
Yeah, absolutely. So they can reach me by email at I would give them the school's email because I'm going to see that the fastest. So it's info at Cure Aesthetics. So that's CureAesthetics.us. Info at cureaesthetics.us. They can definitely email me. I would love to make that available for them and help these school owners out because it's all the hats that we wear. It's like endless. So any help that we can get, free help on top of that, where it have, their online platform and have it available for students, and then they can recycle those classrooms. So they don't have to worry about putting a brand new classroom on there every time they have a new class start. They just put the new students in and keep on moving. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a game changer for a lot of them.
Now, can they find you on Instagram?
Absolutely. Cure Advanced Aesthetics.
Okay. Can you spell that for them again?
Sure. So it's Cure, and that's CURE, Advanced, ADVANCED, Aesthetics, AESTHETICS.
Okay. So let me see. Are you on Facebook too?
Under the very same name, Cure Advanced Aesthetics.
Okay.
And if they have problems, just if they search Cure Advanced Aesthetics in Memphis, I'm sure we'll pop up. We're all over. We should be on Google too, so they can Google us and then they can find Instagram and all that other stuff that we have. So we should be pretty easy to find.
And when I post this on YouTube, I'm going to put your links. And if for some reason y'all can't find it, y'all can just reach out to Millionaire Barber and I'll forward you to Malia. What would you want to leave them with?
Just stay encouraged. This thing can be quite hard sometimes when you want to transition from the chair or when you want to transition from behind the bed, behind the nail stand, whatever it is that you're doing at that time. Just stay encouraged. Don't listen to the negativity. Really make sure that your prayer life is where it needs to be. I know a lot of people say, oh, I've seen unbelievers that are unsuccessful. Yeah, but I'd rather do it God's way than their way. I mean, his way is always going to be better. I mean, they may be doing well financially, but their health may be failing. They're failing in some other realm. I can tell you that now. He ain't in the future. So keep God first in all that you do and really listen to him. Don't be so anxious to just do what you want to do. Make sure that you're hearing it from him and make sure that you've got a reason for doing what you're doing besides the money. We all want to be profitable. Even Bishop Jake said the same thing. We all want some money, but we want to be in the game for the right reasons and the money will come. So, keep your best foot forward, really sit down and strategize, be organized, be professional at all times, really present yourself in the best way. And every door, as you said before, Chan, you'll end up in places you didn't even think you would be if you do those things. And that's what I've lived by and I've tried to live by. I'm not perfect took me a long time to get it right. And I'm not right, but I feel like I'm on a good road. And I know that, you know, God is just taking me through step by step.
Well, Malia, I thank you for sharing your story, for telling us about the school, your journey, also for sharing this platform with the Google Docs. So if you all want to reach out to Malia, tell them once again how they can find you.
They can, well, actually, they can also call me if they would like to call. The number is 901-586-6292. You guys can Google me, Google the school rather, Cure Advanced Aesthetics. You can send us a message on Instagram, Facebook, all the same name, Cure Advanced Aesthetics, or shoot us an email at info@cureaesthetics.us.
Thank you very much, Malia.
Oh, you're welcome. No, thank you. The pleasure was mine. Thank you so much.